Hey guys, welcome to our sometimes Tuesday Paintapalooza. We have a ton of thrifted projects that we needed to get finished. We already started painting some of them in our paid channel membership video, but we're finishing them here and we're just gonna get some stuff done. Last week we didn't do a Paintapalooza and people are like, did you do a video? We painted a bunch of stuff white and bright and we thought we'd just bring that theme over onto this week because
Although
most
we
of
do
that
have
sold.
some birdie
But
and milk paint.
that's still bright. I feel like that's a lighter color.
If you're wondering, the giraffe is done. The video on how we fixed that will be out Thursday. If you were a channel membership, you got to see how that was kind of done and how we waxed it. So keep all the secrets. Don't blab them out.
Yeah, we will be
Thursday's video.
Thursday's video. We're gonna have a little bit of thrifting and a little bit of makeover. I'm just gonna drop this in the Jamie Ray Vintage group so people can see it.
So we've done a few prep things. We painted a little earlier. A lot of things have first coats. This was just like a pedestal candlestick holder. We're going with crinoline, and it might look bright and white. Let me see if I can bring it close and get you kind of, this is just one coat, but kind of more of a true color on here.
One of the things I like to do with my whites is mix. A lot of people think if you do bright white, you have to do all bright white or you have to do all cream. I actually love the way multiple colors look mixed together. So here you can see the difference between crinoline and white.
This is white swan.
White swan. And that's
crinoline is more of a yellow cream.
We're sticking with those two colors today. I need to go get some white linen cottage color from the shop. We're completely out here, but hopefully next week we'll have some of that. Well, hello, Jane Brown. Deborah said the giraffe came out great. So
how are your eyes? I haven't heard in a while. Did they get you figured out?
She said they were getting better, but yeah, if you are in channel membership or JRV subscribers on Facebook, we did post the link and Zeb put a little sneaky peeky on the giraffe, but we did film all the steps so that way, because we knew everybody wanted to see it. We didn't want anybody to feel left out. So, hey, Linda, she says, hey, you too, haven't been on in a while. So proud of all the new adventures you've been on. We have been doing a lot of really, I feel like life is an adventure for us these days.
We have more adventures coming.
Yeah, always.
We're in the middle of some right now.
We're in the middle of new ideas. I think that's part of being like an entrepreneur is there's always going to be something fun and exciting going on. If you guys want to buy the paint products or the thrift flips, you can visit jamierayvintage.com. I will grab that link here in a minute while paint's drying. Caitlin is at an appointment, so it's just Seb and I monitoring comments today. So yeah, we're excited about that. And what else do we have going on?
Tomorrow, barring the weather is good.
I thought we were gonna do that Thursday.
We're not gonna hook up the
chicken coop?
The chicken coop?
Yeah, because tomorrow we have Waste Not Wednesday, and then I have doctor's appointment, and then we have to go to the Apple store because your phone is not working.
Okay, so Thursday on the other channel, the Jamie and Zeb channel, you know, we've been trying to get a chicken coop in for weeks, and we got a really good, easy solution. We did, if you saw the short video, we did buy the pop-up like Rubbermaid style shed. And we'll show you how to put that together and what we're going to do to the inside to make it a proper chicken coop. But back to painting.
Oh, Jane says she's better. She's getting new glasses to see. And Sarah has a good question. She says, is Big Top better than liquid patina? Do you want to answer that one, Zeb?
So they are different. They are both amazing in their own right. Big Top is more of like a satin to semi-gloss top coat that really is very wipeable. And it's a thinner product, so it goes on really nice and smooth. We did 5 coats on our tabletop, like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and it's still holding strong with our family of 7/8, 9, 10, whoever's here. And then the liquid patina is more of a matte, and it's much thicker. It works really good as a transfer and decoupage gel medium, but it also can be used as a sealer, but just know it's a matte sealer. It is durable, but it is not going to hold up quite as long to a lot of wear and tear as like a gloss sealer is, because a gloss sealer is less porous, so less things getting down in the finish.
Also, liquid patina in humid areas can be a little sticky for a while, so keep that in mind. And Big Top's self-leveling.
All right, just to catch you up where we were at. This was painted with crinoline first, that kind of light yellow cream color that DIY has. And then I went over it with a really thin birdie coat. It was really watered down in birdie milk paint. heat gunned it. We did start getting some chipping, and then I used a stamp, an IOD mini crockery stamp, and we braid that on there. This is old school, and I'm gonna wet distress everything back and then seal it with wax right now. But just to catch you up to how
Are you gonna
this
wet
got to
distress or
looking
just
like this.
use like a?
I might just use sandpaper.
Yeah, I worry if you get that wet, you're gonna really get a lot
I'm
of
gonna
chipping.
lose all of it.
And these are just like the cardboard paper wrapped boxes. We actually had somebody the other day ask, like, can I paint the cardboard paper wrapped boxes? You absolutely can. If the paper is peeling, just know that you will want to remove any loose paper, because the paint is only as good as what you're putting it on. So if the underneath is peeling and you paint over top of it, then your paint's gonna peel. So
where did we go with the sandpaper we had out? Do I need to grab
I have a question about my floor I painted with DIY paint. I already sealed it with Rust-Oleum matte clear spray, but want to protect it more. You can just layer on top of that Rust-Oleum spray. You can lightly sand it if you want to, and then you can buy a water-based floor sealer. So there's a bunch of them out there. I don't know any brands specifically, but you should just be able to go over it with that. We actually, in our shop, the old church stage in our shop, we used DIY the cottage color, the Jamie Ray vintage cottage color in gray skies, and it's held up pretty darn well. Now, admittedly, we don't sweep and mop that floor as often as you might like at your house, but it has a built-in top coat. So honestly, if I was going to paint another floor, I would probably just use that. Like the all-in-ones worked out really well. We are actually planning on our house to just cover our existing floors that have been painted white, because white and our family not really working. Also, we don't have a subfloor, so it chips a lot. It's
always the subfloor story. I think the floor moves a lot because it's 100 years old. It's built in 1917. And so 106 years old, I guess now. And there's no subfloor under there. And it's just our floor joists are 2x6s. So it moves a lot. Like I've done some work to reinforce it down there, but it still moves. So we're going to go over the top, and hopefully that'll firm it up and we won't get as much creaking and cracking and chipping on the paint.
Delissa, you can use Big Top. Absolutely. I've not used Big Top on a floor. I'm trying to think, what did we use? I don't know if we used Sweet Pickens top coat or Big Top over our faux tiles that we did on our fireplace, and it's held up well. But again, we're not stepping on it a ton because of where it's located.
I think it was Big Top.
But yeah, I would say that it would be fine. Just know, like, all natural sealers are typically not going to be as durable as chemical sealers. But then again, you're dealing with a chemical which isn't great to inhale. So you kind of have to pick and choose what you're willing to put up with, I guess. Is there anything you can recommend to seal painted cardstock on metal for outdoor use? I would just use an outdoor sealer. We don't sell anything currently rated for outdoors other than Cottage Colors is rated for outdoors as long as the surface is sanded and prepped. What did I use on my stairs? So on my stairs, I used weathered wood and a lot, like an entire container of white wax. And I buffed them like crazy, and they are wearing and chipping, but that's what I wanted. I really wanted an old world look.
Hopefully you guys can hear Jamie okay.
I think so, because I'm wearing a mic. But yeah, on my stairs in my house, I keep saying I'm going to show the technique because we have stairs going down to our basement, but I cannot confirm when that's going to happen.
So far, the basement just keeps getting pushed back. We cleared it out a lot of the way, but there's still a bunch of stuff down there. Really, I need like if I had a solid day where I woke up at like 7 in the morning, fed the animals, and then that's what I did all day, we could really knock a lot of it out. But I don't really get that. That's not a real thing.
That's not a real thing in our lives.
We do so many things through the course of our day that I get like chunks of an hour here or an hour there. And those chunks have been pretty rare the last few weeks.
Do we have, where did you say that blue painter's tape was? I need to glue
it might be over in these
IOD
drawers here.
molds.
I know we used this Saturday at the thrift haul.
Here it is.
All right.
Did you say you had construction adhesive?
I do.
So we like to pour little, like, I think these are from, I don't remember. I know this one's the Fleur de Lis IOD mold. I can look them up later for you. But whenever we have extra resin, we always just pour little elements and we save them in a baggie in our drawer. And so then when I'm looking to do projects, sometimes I'll just use things I already have. And so I wanted to do, this is my plan. We'll see if it works. I'm going to glue these IOD resin molds that we did onto my bucket. I'll let them dry. And I'm going to kind of pencil out an oval shape. And then I'm going to paint the rest. I'm going to paint it all one color. And then the oval, I'm going to paint something else. And I don't know. I have an idea. We'll see what happens. Did you say you had construction adhesive, Zeb?
Sure do. Let me.
Can you put that on there for me?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've been putting a screw in the top. It's your dad's old trick. I don't really like to do it unless I have a screwdriver handy because sometimes it glues in there and it's a pain to get out. But that has been saving our entire tube of construction adhesive.
I like it. So this one doesn't need to be microwaved because it's kind of skinny, so it fits. This one needs to be microwaved. So I'm going to microwave this for like 15 seconds so I can mold it to my piece and glue it in spot. And you can buy the construction adhesive in little tubes too. You don't have to do the big one.
We just get it because we use so much of it. All right, you want this down on the bottom? In the center. Yes?
What did you say?
Down
Yeah,
on the
center bottom.
Okay. Oh. Well, that wasn't very centered. Just trying to line it up between the handles here.
We'll see. This one's kind of thick.
That was a
and
mess.
Don't let me forget. I need to drop the link to JamieRayVintage.com. I keep forgetting to do that since Caitlin's not on.
Are they hiding?
What?
Do we have paper towels out anywhere?
No. This one is not.
How thick
bendy.
are you going to paint this? I kind of had to slide it.
Oh, I plan on doing texture. So
okay. I'm not going to sweat a little excess glue. Here, if you're going to do texture, let me just put that on there thick.
Okay, and then just tape it down.
And then you can do some magic with some
The
salt wash or
thinner
something.
the resin is, the easier it is to microwave. Let's see. I'm just going to drop a link to our entire website. You can find all the paint products there or look for thrift haul, and then you can actually buy the items. Oh, hey, Caitlin. Hey, Ivy.
Okay, do you want this at the top here or down below the line, Jamie?
Down below the line because I'm going to do an oval.
Whoops. That's a lot of glue.
Okay. It's good to see you, Ivy. I don't know if it's going to let you drop links, though. I don't know if you're like not logged in through StreamYard. So that's okay. I just dropped a link to the website. I would love to see a tour of your craft storage. I don't know if you want to. I did organize the bottom.
We're both over here like, no, I don't think you would love it.
I don't really think it's like, you see somebody's storage and you're like so inspired to get organized. Ours is not that way.
We do it like once every 3 months, and by the time it's at the end of that 3 months before the next organization, it gets pretty bad.
If you guys are on Facebook and you want to hit share, that helps us out a ton, especially for these unscheduled live videos. Let's see if we have any more questions. Well, I'm just waiting on paint to dry. What is the best way to clean your JRV stencils? So what I like to do is I like to use a JRV stencil brush with a little bit of soap, and I just swirl the soap on there, warm water, and then use that brush. Now, if there's little teeny details, I brush down towards the detail and not against it. If you brush against it, you're going to flip that detail up and you'll kind of ruin the stencil. So if you go down, and if you do get any detail that's bent, you can put like a flour sack cloth over the top of the stencil and use a iron very quickly. You don't want to melt it, but you can iron it flat again. Our stencils are some of the thickest in the industry. So
15 mil.
They're actually 17 mil, but we only claim 15 mil because I like to promise, over deliver.
But that's why they're so good for raised stenciling.
Yeah, so they're super thick, so they can hold up to an iron, so you can iron that flat. That is how I clean mine. If you're using paint other than DIY paint and it's not water soluble, do not let it sit on there.
Don't put the iron straight on them. It will still melt it.
I said to use a flour sack.
Yeah, okay.
Towel.
I missed that.
Yeah. So
I was like, you're telling people to just iron them straight up?
No, don't do that.
Don't do that.
They are plastic. I don't want to ruin your iron. What happened to the giraffe? So the giraffe is finished.
Done. It's finished.
And it'll be on Thursday's video. We did do a sneak peek. If you are in the channel membership group or JRV subscribers, check out that video. But otherwise, we did do a step-by-step video that will be up Thursday.
Yep.
So Catherine took today off work for a mental health day. Hey, there ain't nothing wrong with that.
I am ready for one of those, Catherine. Not necessarily a mental health day. Like, I need to catch up on all my TV series. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes back on a few Star Wars things right now.
So did you finish this all the way? It's all sealed up with wax?
It's not sealed yet. Do you want to wax it?
Yeah, I can do that.
I just
so
set it
this
aside because I was
this
going
is
to
a
get this going.
piece
so
we
start
worked
drying.
on in our private group, but we're finishing up here in this group.
Yeah, I told them all about the steps.
Yeah, Zeb gave you all the steps. If you're just tuning in, you can rewatch the beginning and to see the steps on how we got here. But we wanted to look kind of primitive, like an old like product bin. So this is like a lemon curd stamp that
That's
we
a
put
lot
on
of
here.
lemon curd. You're probably right. We should have used the dairy one, the dairy stamp, but
It's fine.
I had the lemon curd in hand and I went for it.
I mean, if it was a bakery, maybe they make a lot of lemon curd. What color is just getting here? So we're using white swan, crinoline, and then we used, this color has birdie on it.
Birdie.
And we did the, so we got some loose paint here, chipping that off. This one is birdie, and then we used weathered wood for the stamp. We're going to do some more stamping here in a little bit and show you how to use a brayer instead of ink to get a more hand-painted look.
Okay, coat number 1 on that. If you remember from Saturday, we had this Swedish fish / Swedish horse.
It's a Swedish horse. Zeb called it Swedish.
I accidentally called it a Swedish fish because, you know, those are delicious. If you've never had Swedish fish, you should try them. But cut off all the weird hair. Ended up being just nylon rope, so I cut it flush and then used the heat gun to kind of burn it back down into the hole because it was glued down in there good. And then we used some salt wash mixed with crinoline and just kind of went over that and used it almost like a plaster to fill in those holes. And I'm just going to sand that smoothish. It doesn't have to be completely, totally smooth. And then we're going to paint this and dark wax it. Because while the polka dots are cute and it had pink googly eyes, all had to go.
All right, so we need to glue this. Do you still have the construction adhesive out?
Yep.
So you also remember from our edited video that I threw up yesterday or from Saturday's live, we have a marriage that was made. Let me introduce you to Mr. and Mrs. Candlestick and Plate. And apparently it's a trio because it also has this cute little cloche. We bought all these 3 independently. This was silver. I already painted it crinoline. And so we're just going to glue that together and I'll get that painted and it'll make it work together.
On the horse so we can get this going.
What brand of glue do you use? So we're using Gorilla's construction adhesive. It does come in little tubes. We just like it because we use so much that it's less expensive. I'd also do it
it's like
on this lip here.
$11 to $13 depending on the day. Okay. No, because that's going to sit down inside. That won't even touch.
It's going to sit down inside in the bottom. So I was hoping to get some extra.
It doesn't touch the bottom.
It doesn't touch the bottom?
No.
Okay.
Don't worry. This will hold it on plenty good. This is $11 to $12 for a whole tube of this, and a small tube is like $8. So we go with the big tubes.
If you're not going to be doing a lot, then I would suggest, can I use this or do you want me to use that dark one to wipe off the excess glue? I was just getting the little tubes of it.
Here, use a paper towel.
What's a nice cream color? We like crinoline. Also tarnished pearl. If you want something that's less of a yellow cream, tarnished pearl is nice. And also I really, for just a very, very soft cream, just take crinoline and mix it half and half with either our cottage color white linen, if you want a little bit of a top coat in there, or white swan. Mix those together and you can just get like an off-white, not really like a true cream. I like to do that too.
We've been trying to use more towel products, but this will ruin the rag.
Yeah.
So paper towel it is.
I'm just smoothing out the construction adhesive so we don't have like a big chunky line under there. This is really going to hold this together, and then I'm going to let it dry for a few minutes and then I can paint it. We like construction adhesive because it's nice and thick and it really it's used to it adhere stuff for construction purposes, so works well for the crafting world.
Look at that. Did you get that centered?
Is that not centered? This is going to throw you off because that's paint nothing. Does it come in clear?
Yes, it does.
So it also comes in black, so don't buy that. Unless you're painting black. Jinx. We already talked about the draft. I need a week at your house with watching everything. I don't really think you want to.
Do you have time to run around and do everything in 15 to 20 minute increments and run kids all over and do 1,000 and other things?
last
It's
night.
pretty rare. Like this is the longest we ever sit down and paint is when we're doing live streams.
I mean, I do sometimes when Zeb, like a lot of times I'll paint. Zeb goes and milks Buttercup, and then I'll just stay here and paint. I always try to do something when he's off getting milk and eggs for our family. I always try to do something productive. And so sometimes I'll paint or do laundry or whatever while he's off doing that. I don't mind helping, but if it's cold outside, there's no reason we should both suffer. All right, we're gonna let this dry for a minute. And here's our little cloche over here.
Also, it's pretty chill. Like it's pretty easy to, and it's definitely a one-person deal. I can get a little more done if someone comes and feeds Buttercup, but that's a great Jack and Redrick job. It's
good time in the barn. Good life lessons. Okay, so this is our little, if you recall, our rooster bookend. We only had one. It did sell. I just did crinoline? No, white swan. I used white swan. I painted the flat surfaces solid, but I did a lighter coat over the rooster so that way you could see the detail. And so we just need to distress around the edges. Is that 220?
It is.
Okay, when he's done with that, I'll distress around the edges.
Side note, we're almost out again. I think the last time we buy them in 50 packs like this for the orbital sander, but they last just, you can use them like a regular sander. And our 50 pack is almost gone.
Oh, were you going to glue that top? So we were going to sand this smooth, but this is just warped. So it just is what it is.
It's not going to sand smooth.
We're just going to make it look the best that we can.
I think once we paint it all up, it'll be fine.
You did really good on this.
Yeah. Oh, I need to fix the bum. The tail's a little.
The tail's a little wonky.
But I'll glue this
I'm going to
up.
wet distress this. I don't.
Where did the top of this go?
It's a really good question. I don't know.
I'll find it.
I'm trying not to move too much. I have vertigo, and so my brain is a little jostled. And if I get too dizzy, then I wind up with headaches. Struggle is real.
She's been struggling with like what it could possibly be, and come to find out, she's like, oh, you know what? About the time this started, I cleaned my ears out, and I might have cleaned too deep. So she's going to the ENT tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it's an inner ear problem. It's not like sometimes you're dizzy because you don't have enough, like your blood sugar's low. That's definitely not the case. Or it's like medication dizzy. This is different. This is definitely like my inside my head, if that makes any sense at all. Okay, I'm going to wet distress this because DIY paint is water soluble, which means it's not waterproof until it's sealed. You can just take a wet rag and pull some of the paint off. And then I'm going to, do you have clear wax?
Yeah,
oh, I have it.
I passed it down over to you.
I'm going to clear wax this and then we'll dark wax it. I'm going to move my little boxes out of the way. They need to be second coated and then you can get to playing with those. Carolyn wants to know if she missed a lot. We painted a lot of things white.
Haven't missed too much. We've been on probably 20 minutes now, Carolyn, but
we're going to be on until about 1:15.
Yeah.
Then we've got business coaching, so we've got to pop out and do business coaching.
And then we have an interview. We're looking for new team members for the shop.
We have a team member moving.
This is her second interview. Caitlin interviewed her, said it went really well. So we're like, well, let's meet her. And then I got to milk the cow every day. 4 o'clock comes around, it's time to milk the cow. I'm thinking of switching her to like 7 o'clock in the morning when we get up, like after we read scriptures and pray with the kids and send them off to school. I'll go milk the cow and then we can exercise.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
Because you're always like, 7's too early. You're like always still like on your phone answering all the emails from the night.
Or editing videos and putting those up.
And I'm like, hey, let's go work out.
Occasionally I like to work from, get my work done.
So I think if I gave you like an extra half hour, it would be just about right.
Well, except for in the summertime, I get up before you.
And then we can just bump her earlier.
Yeah, I'm an early riser in the summer.
But then I don't have to like cut my day right at 4 o'clock. I used to milk her at 7 and that just conflicted with too many kid things, basketball games, cheer.
7 p.m.
Yeah, 7 p.m. I'm thinking of switching her in the morning because we do 1-a-day milkings. If you Google it, you can wean your cow down to milk once a day. It really helps you not get because if we were milking her twice a day, we'd probably be getting like 4 gallons of milk a day.
And she hasn't had a calf. She hasn't been refreshed for a while.
She hasn't had a calf in over a year, and it's going to be September. She is pregnant. I've checked her like 5 times. She's not in heat. She's like 4 days late now. So we're good to go. We've got a calf in there.
Is the gal coming back to double check or?
No, she's not actually. She told me it's illegal for her to.
Do we need to have a vet checker?
A vet has to do that.
Oh, okay.
She can just do the AI part, not the actual checking.
So I just use dark wax over the top of the clear wax, and I'm bringing back all this detail. And I will smear it around on the flat parts, but I don't want it to look too dirty, so I'll have to be careful.
But she did tell me, she's like, if she comes back in heat, that's how you know it didn't work, and I can come right back out if you need me to quick while she's in heat. And I didn't have to call her. I think we've got a calf in there.
We have a calf in there. It's going to be a little baby calf, a little mini because
tiny mini jersey, tiny mini jersey. Like the bull is only 37 inches at his shoulder, which I have a big yardstick that is shorter than that. He's only this tall. Like that's to my waist, like below my waist. So it'll be a little calf.
All right, here it is with the dark wax. I'm going to let that set up some more and then I'll buff it later. But you want to make sure you wipe it off after you've applied it, because if you let it sit for too long, it's almost impossible, even if you have clear wax, to get it off. You know what? I think I'm going to use that crinoline. I need white swan. The underneath of this is pretty yucky, so I'm going to paint it. Also
something cool, and maybe this is more Homestead channel stuff that I can talk about like while I'm milking her someday. Do a video on that. The bull has A2, and I forget, it's like, without reading it, it's a weird word, like homozygous or something like that. Anyway, he's polled. He doesn't have horns, so hopefully we get a calf that's tiny with A2 milk.
It doesn't have horns, or if it does have horns, they're smaller. We'll see. Genetics are an interesting thing. Our Jersey is not a mini, but she's not a big Jersey.
And she's not polled. She has horns.
She, as your nose has found out.
They're nice and rounded off. She's worn them down good. She's 5 years old now.
All right,
I'm just short. Her horns are probably only that long.
I will come back and clear wax that, but sometimes I don't paint the bottoms of things, but that was kind of a mess.
But anyway, I looked high and low for a calf and was like going to spend hundreds of dollars to get some stuff mailed, a straw, we'll call it a straw, mailed to us.
Bull stuff. I guess you don't want to say the word because sometimes
it might hurt the algorithm. Anyway, so, and then I found this bull locally. He's down in Manti, which is only a couple hours south of us. So that was nice.
Sometimes cows can get injured also from like natural relations. Also, just size-wise, I don't know, they would have aligned. This is just the one we painted on our Saturday thrift haul. Sorry. We'll get back to paint instead of talking about impregnating our animals. But this was Haint Blue, and then we did DIY's white linen, clear wax, and dark wax, one of our more popular finishes here. And this is all done. I think this one already sold, as well as the big fat candlestick that's right here that I'm going to wet distress.
A lot of it did sell. We had about 20 items that didn't sell Sunday or Saturday night.
We have 20 items available.
And a lot of them are gone now. There's a couple left.
Polled is dominant in goats. I don't know about cows. Oh, so maybe I've never heard of that small bull. I didn't know they were that small
yeah,
either.
he's like small for a mini. So I'm excited to see what we get. And Buttercup is on the smaller side for a Jersey. She's only about 700 pounds. They range from 700 to 1,100 pounds. So we'll see what happens.
All right. I'm just going to put everything that needs to be crinoline in front of you. These need to be done next because we need to put some stuff on them. So they got to dry. This is a big Mama Jamma candlestick.
That one's heavy.
From our live video.
Solid all the way through.
And I just need to wet distress it and clear wax it. And then I'll see where I'm at. I might dark wax it too. I haven't decided. Let me get this.
All right. One coat down. This is going to take a couple coats to hide these. This crinoline. There's some dark spots underneath, like they polka dotted it with black. And that's peeking through in a few places. So I'm going to have to 2-coat it. But that's fine. It'll be fast. It's such a small piece.
Is a horse he's painting sold? Yes, the horse is sold. Zeb, can you fix the camera?
Yes, I can.
Also, never breed polled to polled. So you're not supposed to do that. So good, because we didn't. We have polled to a non-polled. I'm going to drop a link to the thrift haul, and it's sorted by what's available. That hasn't started.
All right. Do you guys remember the tray, the cast iron tray? Jamie's got it painted in crinoline already, one coat on there. And I cut just 1/4-inch MDF board out of there. It is in this size, and it's got support all the way around. It's super strong. I wouldn't stand on it, but it'll hold anything you set on it. Like you can put a gallon of milk or whatever on there, or whatever you're drinking.
In our case, it's milk. Thrift. So all of these items that are in the thrift haul, unless you're watching the replay, are going to show what they look like before they were painted, because obviously they're not finished yet. But once we get done, anything that's not sold, I will update those photos before I drop this off at the shop.
Okay, so I am going to dark and decrepit this. So if you guys have been waiting to, or we just had our spring stencil release a couple weeks ago. I guess it's been 2 weeks now. If you've been waiting for new papers, we've got some fun new things coming out. We're still probably 3 to 4 weeks away on that release, but just know that it's in the works. Should be a lot of fun, and we're very excited about it.
The next release of product we have is IODs coming out on Valentine's Day. Ours actually should be to us tomorrow, so we can create some videos ahead of time and get them up to show you that new product. But the thing you want to keep in mind is all of the stencils, milk paint, anything that's like DIY related that's not DIY paint, because we can't do free shipping on it, it's free shipping. So if you see something and you're like, oh, maybe I'll wait till the release comes out, you don't have to wait, because you're going to get free shipping on the item now, and you can get free shipping on the release for IOD, and just something to keep in mind. And when we have a release, typically shipping can take a little bit longer. So if there's something you've been wanting, I would suggest getting it this week, and we'll do our best to get it shipped out quickly. And yeah, and then next week on Valentine's Day, we will have a video. We'll let you know times once we get confirmation when we can post it, but we'll get a video up with all the new IOD products.
Live streams and things.
Yeah, because it's Valentine's Day, I'm going to try really hard to have it all done ahead of time, so Deb and I can just enjoy the day.
I meet with the youth on Tuesday in the evenings, and I was informed that I am not available Valentine's Day.
I feel like maybe
it's all right. They just wanted to do chair soccer in the gym, which is where you basically sit in a chair and you have to protect your chair from the soccer ball from being hit, because if it gets hit, it's like tag, you're out.
Fun little Valentine's Day fact. Zeb and I have been married for 21 years. This is our 23rd Valentine's Day together. We started dating in high school. And if you guys ever see me wear this ring, it's the teeny tiniest little heart. We'd been dating a couple months, and Valentine's Day came, and Zeb gave me this little white gold ring. It does have a diamond in there, albeit very small.
You'd be so proud of me. It was like $270 back in the day, and I only paid $90 for it.
Because you got it on special.
I got it on sale.
I am proud of you. My mom might have had a tiny conniption because we were in high school and only dated a few months when you gave it to me.
And to her mom, like that signified like, oh, that was more serious if you're starting to give rings out.
He liked it, so he put a ring on it.
Yeah.
So anyways, I guess you did so well 23 years ago that it's fine. You can never top that. I actually just like hanging out, and Zeb makes me food. Is there anything better? Because everything is super busy here.
I was going to do, during Christmas time, our local pottery studio, they were selling classes and courses and stuff. I'm like, well, we got a wheel, but we're not that great on it. Let's go take some classes. So I took advantage of their Christmas deal that they had going on. We haven't used it yet. But I don't want to schedule that on Valentine's Day. Like around here in the city, and if you live in a big city, you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. Like everywhere is packed. Like you might wait 2 hours, even with a reservation, to get into somewhere to eat. So we kind of skip that since we have a flexible schedule and we do other things on Valentine's Day.
Sometimes we go out for like lunch. Last year, didn't we go out to like a seafood restaurant?
Yes, we did. It was in the morning. They'd barely opened. It was like 11 o'clock.
How is the cabin build coming? That's on hold.
That's been on serious hold. It's at 7,300 feet, and I did not get out there before the winter hit to flatten off a cabin space. And we can't get out there anyway. 7,300 feet and above is probably under about 4 or 5 feet of snow right now. So, and it is on the south side, so it might not be quite that much, but still it's under lots of snow. And we've been getting tons of snow in the mountains. our mountains are about 100 inches of snow ahead of our yearly average already. And we've still got a couple more months where the mountains will get snow on them.
Sarcasm at caffeine. I know you don't ship DIY paint. I just like your name. That's why I laughed. I know you don't ship DIY paint to Canada, but what about the rest? So we ship everything else to Canada. If the website's giving you fits, you can just email info@jamierayvintage.com. It is not free shipping to Canada, unfortunately. But we just basically charge what it costs.
Yeah,
for us to ship.
international is a whole other deal.
But we do ship to Canada. We actually ship on a fairly regular. We send products to Canada, UK, Australia. We ship internationally on a fairly regular basis.
If you're looking for JRV products, we do have a couple Canadian retailers that sell the stencils and the paper and the stencil brushes.
So you can go to jrvwholesale.com. It is important to know that we carry hundreds of products, and so not all of our retailers have all of them. So if there's something you're looking for specifically and you find a retailer on your map, just contact them and make sure they do have it or that they could order it in for you. And if they cannot or will not order it in specifically for you, then contact us and we will be happy to help you out, or just order on the website.
All right, so I probably coded that better than I needed to. The dark and decrepit is the same as the liquid patina. It's got the built-in sealer. It's the same that we use for decoupage, the thicker matte medium, but it's tinted dark.
I'm just still wet distressing this. This has so much dang detail that it's taken me a hot minute, but it really is so pretty with all that detail.
Tell me how you really feel about that detail.
I feel about it. I'm having feelings over here. I feel like distressing is an art form in and of itself. People might not agree, but I've seen some distress work that's not my favorite.
I'm going to start heat gunning some stuff so I can get second coats on things so we can actually show them some finished projects before we're done.
I'm getting to a finished product here.
I think you're almost done there.
So these are going to the same customer. Doesn't always happen, but I was trying to make them similar. I'm going to leave this one with the Haint Blue underneath. This one's just going to get clear wax and dark wax, but I wanted to make them look kind of similar. So they're getting there. Seb and Jamie, can you give us hints about what upcoming projects are in the pipeline? We're just working on new papers, sizes of papers, and the manufacturing process.
So projects as far as, like, we're trying to get to the basement, if you're talking about that kind of project.
House projects.
So I have filmed like cleaning it out. We got to build a wall down there. I got to finish the electrical, and then we got to figure out some flooring and what we're going to do to cover the walls, whether we do like a drywall or a beadboard. And then the floor is currently just concrete, and it has some places where it's been cut out by the previous owners. So we got to do some flooring cement repair. Got to finish the stairs. The back stairs aren't finished, and also cover the cement there because we might just paint it white, but it needs trimmed out.
That part of my house is a big hot mess right now.
And the stuff from the basement that we pulled out is still sitting there from a couple weeks ago. Because I pulled it out, we were going gung-ho, and then some stuff happened. Jamie ended up going to Arizona, and we just never got to it.
Barbara, the recipe box is just crinoline at this point. We're working on that.
Oh, something really exciting, though, in the pipeline. Hopefully, these are projects that get done through the course of the year. We want to have a greenhouse done that we're going to build out of, like, salvage and old windows. Kind of inspired from Sasha from Sweet Pickins Milk Paint. She's done that, if you guys follow her at all, and hers looks amazing. We were actually out there at her property last week and looking at that, and super inspirational. It looks amazing. It was a foot of snow on the ground out there, and it was probably 80 degrees inside of her greenhouse. So she built it well. And then also Harrington has signed for a lease. I think
No, it's not official.
It's not official. We're hoping it's official soon. Love having him there close, but also he's going to school in the fall and he wants to live closer to school. So he's hopefully moving out to do that because we really do want to encourage him to, like, whatever's going to make it easier for him to continue his college. He's trying to become, his LPN?
Yeah, and then eventually I think nurse practitioner.
And then he wants to go to nursing and be an MP, but that's down the road. We'll see what he actually does, but we want to encourage that. We think that's a great idea, so we're going to help him do whatever. But because he's moving out of the cottage, we want to do an Airbnb with that little building that's back there It's about 500 square feet. And we want to really just cutesy it up. We kind of slapped it together so that our 19-year-old son could live in there. And
his cat.
It's been great for him, but it needs to be pretty much gutted, and the whole entire floor layout needs changed so that it's more functional, because it was never intended to be a living space. It used to be like a bishop's storehouse shed situation.
They used to have Sunday school out there.
For when the church was actually a church. And so they convert the previous people that owned it, the Lambs, they converted it to living space. And so it needs redone. Like, it needs redone all the way down to the plumbing underneath the house. So we're probably, it's functional for now, but not up to where I want an Airbnb to be. So we hope to be started, and if not, doing that. And the cabin project might be on the back burner a little bit because we might have that project to do. So we'll see what funds allow and what time allows. Usually I only have enough to do one construction project a year.
Well, and everything close to home is getting more attention. Like, he really wanted to start on the project for the cottage, but I was like, you know what, we have a lot of things we need to do at the shop. Little upkeep, a lot of pointing to do with the bricks this year. And we've got to get our, we have the second and third floor we haven't even touched really. So we've got to get those projects going. So I just feel like sometimes you just have to take a step back. And while it may not be new and exciting, you just got to finish stuff that you're working on.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we always have fun stuff.
Yeah, we've got like 5 or 6 things we could, throw up in the air and pick which one is going to be the most beneficial for us. And the basement will get done. The kids are dying to move. We do need to get Redrick and Jack separated. They're at that fun boy age where they're starting to fight a lot, but Redrick is significantly larger because puberty has started.
Yesterday, he had some growing pains. He's like, Mom, my legs really hurt. And I'm like, yep, that's growing pains. You're about to get tall. Could I see the recipe box? Yes. This is where it's at. I don't know how far we're getting on this.
I'm going to put another coat of crinoline on there, and then we're going to put we're going to stencil a big S on it. Because that's what the customer requested. We don't always do custom requests, but we were going to stencil it anyway, and an S is easy. So we're going to do that, and then probably just going to seal it with a liquid.
On the bottom.
Yeah, seal it with a liquid sealer, since it'd probably be in a kitchen. Yep. The wax is great, but if it gets a lot of oil on it, since it's porous, it can get gummy.
And I'm just working on this big Mama Jamma candlestick here. We need to second coat these though.
Okay.
So maybe just set that horse aside, second coat.
Well, the horse is ready for whatever finish work we're going to do. Distress and dark wax, or.
All right, I will work on that while I.
Okay. I'll just keep painting and pass stuff your way.
Okay.
Since you've got your little tiny distressing fingers out.
Your little distressing fingers.
Yep.
Have we all done the giraffe yet? Yep. It's going to be an edited video that will be up on Thursday, and we did give a little sneaky peeky in our channel membership video today, but the step-by-step will be out Thursday. So I'm just really making sure that this is painted the way I want to, that I don't have dark wax where I don't want it. And then I might come back.
Also, on top of all those things we were talking about, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just thinking about it. It popped into my head.
Hold on. Let the record show he interrupted me because I get a million comments.
It happens a lot.
So I'm just
probably more my way than her interrupting me. Anyway, we're also moving the garden and putting in a huge garden this spring, and we got to get the starts done here in the next week or two so that we get tomatoes before September, because we can't plant after Mother's Day is the rule here where we're at in Utah. You don't plant before then outside unless it's maybe chard or something that's pretty frost resistant. Spinach
yep. Is actually, we had some poking up through the snow. I was
might do some peas out there, but even peas, they can, if they get a hard freeze, they're going to die.
Yeah. But I just like to know that spring and summer are coming. I know that it's ridiculous for me to dislike them as much as I do living where I live, but I can't help it. I don't like cold weather. I don't like layering stuff on. I mean, it's real novel in December, but come January, bring on the sunshine.
It is fun to have we pretty much have a white Christmas every year, unless it rains randomly. Sometimes we can get a little warm spell and it'll rain.
So I'm just using this clear wax to kind of pull off some of the dark wax in areas where I feel like it's a little dark waxy. And I have been known to come back and dry brush over the top of wax. Are you supposed to do that? No. Do I do it? Yes. Because technically wax is a resist, but I will usually wait for it to like dry overnight. But I'm liking how this is turning out. Here, I used to be really afraid of dark wax, and I've gotten into the grunge aspect of it, and it's gonna look a little splotchy. It'll what?
I love dark wax.
I know. Sometimes it takes you like it, so that it takes me a while to like come on board with it, but
it's less about like the way it looks for me and more about the age that it gives the piece. It kind of leads to more story and interest for me than just like distressing it and having a two-tone.
And it's definitely maybe the reason why I don't love it is because especially on something this detailed, I'm like, oh,
you're still there.
My arthritis, by the time I'm done, my poor little fingers are like, I can't do it anymore. That's all right.
Do you want to switch? And
nope, I'm gonna let it sit, and then
every now and then you'll see me like something like this where all sides are painted. You'll see me scooch it with the paintbrush.
I think this turned out pretty great. You couldn't see a lot of this detail when it was dark if you saw the haul from Saturday. So
this is dry enough. I'm going to do a second coat. We'll get the bottom painted, but not right now because we got to get a second coat on the top. And you saw how fast I just painted that whole top. That's how long I'm going to spend on the bottom.
All right. I think I'm going to
with a brush.
Come back to my bucket project. Do we have a marker?
Yeah, I also have some thick salt wash that might help you on those cracks there. That's going to dry up soon.
What brush did you use for salt wash?
Probably the one I'm using.
Oh,
you want a new one?
Another one? Yeah.
I have. Oh, that's a stencil brush. That's a stencil brush.
Jonathan Mark Mendes paints over wax too. So does Dion from the Turquoise Iris. So
here's the thing.
I just feel like I have to tell you shouldn't because it could cause a resist. But
especially if you're in a humid area. If you live in a humid climate that's like, you got stuff rusting without even being rained on in your garage, maybe don't do it.
But on a layered chippy paint finish, like if a little bit chips off, it's actually okay. You know,
desired effect.
It's like not sad about that one. Oops, this did not glue all the way.
Oh, is it not dry? I put that pretty thick.
Yep, that's okay. I'm gonna get this salt wash. I had to get it wet. It's like dried.
It's been there for a minute, and I made it thick to start anyway.
Yeah, I'll get this where I want it, and then I'm
sure some people will ask. We paint the hinges on pretty much anything. If you look at old cabinets, this house that we bought from 1917. The painted cabinets in the bathroom right over the top of the hinges, all the doors right over the top of the hinges. Like they didn't worry about it. So we're just replicating antiquity.
And if you don't like it, just don't do it. I do sometimes, I'm going to mush this down in here. I do sometimes wet distress over the hinges so that way they glide more freely. All right. Just making sure this is smooth where I...
Okay, this, like I said, we're probably going to let this dry before we stencil it. It might not happen, but this is going to get a big S stenciled on the top. And then I'm probably going to take the border stencil, the new ones that come in the border pack, and put them around the bottom of this.
So on ceramic pieces, we'll use wax sometimes, or we will use like Sweet Pickens Final finish product. It's a liquid top coat. It really just depends. If it's really slick, you might want to lightly sand it or use salt wash in your initial paint. Or you can also use Salvation Solution from DIY Paint that will help things stick to ceramics. I find with ceramics, the right product being painted on it in the first place really matters more than the top coat because realistically, I mean, you're probably not going to scrub it. If you are, then maybe don't paint ceramics in the first place. The other thing that's important is to let things cure. It takes 30 days. So just know that if you paint it, like give it a few days and then seal it and just really let that dry. Using DIY paint is what we do most of the time. But occasionally we'll add salt wash. It helps it stick a little bit more.
Well, and here's the thing. Your sealer can be the most durable ironclad sealer in the world. but it's only as tough as what is painted underneath. It's only going to stick to that as well as it's sticking to the piece. So just keep that in mind when you're painting shiny things. Be like, how well is this actually sticking? Can I just scrape it off or wipe it off?
And don't try to do the nail trick like a day after you paint it. Like, it's gonna scrape off because it takes a long time for that to cure up. The slicker the surface, the longer the cure time. Okay, I'm gonna let this dry. I probably won't do any more to this particular piece on this live video because I really want that glue to dry. So if you were wanting the finished product on this, you'll have to just wait for pictures. Oh, do you think this is dry now, Zeb? This little marriage here. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't push it around hard, but it's probably cured up enough that
I'm not winning
you can paint it.
All right. When you're done with that,
I'm painting the sides of this because you can be seen through the detail on this tray.
Okay. When you're done with that, I'm going to paint this. So this, if you're just tuning in, was a candlestick, a little porcelain plate, and a little cloche that we thrifted. It's already sold. I think we paid like $3 or $4. We're painting it, and it sold for like $22.95, if I remember correctly. Did you use DIY paint on your kitchen cabinets? Yes, they're beadboard painted, and then they're sealed with Sweet Pickin's top coat. I will say that they've held up pretty well. The only cabinet that's had any issues is the one where the garbage can is in.
Lots of greasy hands touching that from cooking. And
I can say right now, like, I've seen enameled cabinets and lacquered cabinets that will chip over time. It's just the nature of paint. It depends on how heavily your house is used. We use our house hard. So I'm pleased with the way that it's held up.
Yep.
I would do it again.
In fact, we probably need to clean it well and do it again. Also on the menu, and this is probably more of a if the budget allows this year, we want to redo these cabinets. These are just cheap, like cheapest out of the box Home Depot cabinets we could find, and Jamie put some fun trim on them and we painted them. But some of the drawers are already starting to wear out and the slides, and I'm having to repair stuff. And we want to do a bigger stove. That's the big budget part. We didn't realize that 2 years into living here that we were going to be cooking most of our meals because of my special dietary needs.
And canning.
And all that other stuff. And we need a bigger stove. We feed a lot of people, and I don't see that changing. We have a lot of kids. Eventually, they're going to start bringing grandchildren over here. We have a lot of family that lives close that's always popping in and out. The neighborhood kids are always over here. In the summer, we have a pool, so we're feeding everybody from that. You know, it's a lot of cooking.
And like I said, we're canning a lot, and so we have to have space for the canner in the summer and fall. And then also, we got to eat while we're canning. So what about drawers under the island? I don't know.
That was always in the works, and we probably, when we redo the kitchen, it's going to have to be custom because we aren't changing the island. The top of the island is made out of the rafters that were in this old part of the house. And we turned that into the countertop on the island. So that's probably going to stay until, either we move or die.
Yeah, I'm not holding my breath for drawers. I would love to have them, but it's fine.
I've got some functional shelves in there. We just need to get better about how we throw stuff in.
I could throw crap in drawers too. It'd be just as disorganized. Creative minds are not super tidy. And so I do my best to stay organized, but I'm not one of those people who loses sleep over it. I do when the house gets, right now, the house is really messy. I'm not going to lie. I have been really, really dizzy. And so mama has not been picking up stuff. And then we're in the middle of the basement project. So there's just stuff everywhere. And that does make me crazy. But if it's in a cabinet or under the island behind a curtain, it really doesn't bother me. Perfection is not required in my life. That's probably why we get a lot of stuff done. Perfectionists get stuff done eventually, or they don't pile as much on, but creative people tend to pile it on, and they just get stuff done as it happens.
Granted, I will say this, doing something right the first time saves you a lot of time later, which perfectionists are usually, they're like, I'm going to build this and it's going to last until my grandchildren are using it.
Yeah, Sweet Pickin's top coat is clear. We do still have some in stock, but they are no longer making it. So if you want it, you're definitely going to want to pick it up. They've replaced it with their final finished top coat. And I do believe we still have some of their original old top coat that they had.
I think I'm gonna go sideways like this.
Okay. I'm just gonna, I've now painted way too many projects. My head is like spinning. Right. I'm gonna, since you second coated those boxes, I'm gonna second coat the lids and then we can stencil. What time is it? All right, we're good. We still have like 18 minutes.
Yep, I'm gonna stencil this. Distress. I think I'm gonna do a real heavy distress. Some of this stencil might just go away, like, because I'm gonna really distress this up.
So what do we do with the box with the grapes on it? Nothing yet. That will
was
be
from this week's thrift haul, so we haven't even shown that on Saturday.
Yeah,
so we won't finish it until that happens.
Yeah, it'll be finished either Saturday or next week. We start thrifting on Monday when we can, and then that way, if we don't get enough or whatever, we've got time throughout the week and it's just less pressure. So we'll probably go thrifting another time this week and get a few more things. But we always thrift. I shouldn't say always, but when we can, we thrift on Mondays. Just helps us get a head start on it.
Well, and it helps us see, I don't know if you know this, thrifting's become very popular and sometimes it's competitive at the thrift store. So it gives us more time in our week to be like, okay, we need to go back and get more.
Yeah. So we have to get enough stuff. We like to have somewhere around 50 items for our thrift hauls. And that gives us enough to have variety for customers to see. But also then we have some things left over that don't sell that we want to putting in our shop. And that seems to be.
Last week, I named it the super mega thrift haul because I think we were around 75, 80 items.
I don't think so.
That's a lot.
I thought we were like just under 60.
I think it was closer to 70. It felt like a ton either way.
So Zeb's using our cooperative agricole stencil. It's a JRV stencil that we carry at jamierayvintage.com. We have stencils in the mini packs. Those are pretty popular, but I do think it's good to have some of the larger branding in your arsenal for bigger projects like the one that Zeb is working on.
Well, I contemplated doing a mini on this, but I'm like, I want to fill up the whole space. I will have some void on the edges, but that's fine.
Another thing that I would really love to work on, are you guys head spinning with all the projects we have in mind? I really want to get the second floor crafting painting room finished, because as much as I don't hate painting in my dining room, it does make living life in here a little difficult.
That's actually slated for as soon as we get the basement done.
Yeah.
Like that's the next thing. Like if Harrington moves out, we'll mothball the little cottage behind the church for a minute and get to that like later this summer.
Yeah, we've got to get that done because it will be nice to be able to like leave projects, come back, paint them.
And we want to do classes up there and have people come in and teach. Dion's been begging us to get it done so that she can come.
Oh, you know what we do have to do this week, Seb?
What?
We got to get Dion pictures for the next turquoise.
I was hoping it's going to snow so we could get some fun pictures of it in the snow.
No, but she doesn't want snow pictures because it's this spring.
Oh, she wants spring pictures.
So we'll use some
I have
outside
spring pictures.
Yeah, we'll use some outside from last year and then we'll do some inside from right now.
Yeah, right now it's pretty spring in there.
Rustic Rehabs just watched our pasta reels. Yeah, last night I was trying to make pasta, and then in the middle of the kitchen island there was a giraffe, and then on the side of the kitchen island was Zeb's milking equipment. So that is why sometimes painting at home is problematic. And my pasta machine was giving me fits, so we ate Olive Garden. Which,
by the way, if you're needing like a good gluten-free meal and you don't want to have to make it yourself, Olive Garden's gluten-free pasta is delicious. I have mine with the meat sauce and extra sausage.
So you didn't do the center in that.
Oh, whoops.
I don't hate it. I just wouldn't.
No,
maybe you had a plan.
Nope, no plan. I was just talking and not thinking.
Can Zeb eat Olive Garden? Yeah, he eats the gluten-free sausage and then the gluten-free pasta. It's probably not like the healthiest in the world because everything gluten-free mass-produced is usually just crap that's not gluten, but he can eat it. So we try to make stuff at home so we know exactly what's in it.
Realistically, I'm not going to like go into like an allergic reaction. My body does react. And it usually means the next day I don't come out of the bathroom much.
All right. So I'm going to distress this a little bit, our little horse here. So what I did on the last horse though, and I think I wish you would have done on this one, is I used salt wash in a darker color first, and then I wet distress to that.
Oh,
but
those little dots are coming through on that
yeah,
one.
it's fine because I'm just going to go around the edges. But the last horse, we did a dark salt wash, then a light color over the top.
Well, I'm going to dark wax it heavy.
Okay.
Like that's the plan.
Just wondering if I should use sandpaper instead of wet distress to try to get through the initial. Do you have that sandpaper over there?
Yes. There you go.
Pasta gives you residual energy when you carb load. But there we go. So I'm just gonna.
I need some residual energy. Rex occasionally eats things he shouldn't, and he's got like the weakest stomach I've ever seen in a dog. And he made a mess in 2 rooms last night. Oh, anyway, needless to say, I was up very late cleaning and mopping and washing the dog.
I wasn't up doing any of that because after I've laid down for a few hours, my vertigo is really bad. But I was awake, and we watched Star Trek in the middle of the night to kind of fall back asleep after the cleanup situation.
Star Trek is great to fall asleep to. Let me tell you why I love Star Trek. It's not because the story is amazing or the characters are super great or the actors are awesome. I love Star Trek because start to finish, you can watch one episode, not have any idea what's going on in Star Trek, and they're going to complete their story. Very rarely they'll do a 2-part in the series, but pretty much you get the whole story in one TV show. 45 minutes, you're done. You got the whole thing. And I love that.
All right, I'm going to just clear wax this, and then you can bring your vision to
I
life.
can't say that for the new Star Trek shows, though. After
No.
Discovery, not
and they
so
got
much.
foul language in the new Star Trek shows. That's part of the reason why you're like, I'm not saying Star Trek is perfect, but it's pretty clean for the most part, especially considering today's television programming options. And Zeb and I are pretty picky about what we watch. We watch a lot of like DIY shows, and we watch homesteading shows.
All right. Stenciled that up.
Here's this.
Hold on, I got my cord all twisted. It's not wanting to stand up. Okay, there's that horse ready for dark wax. Now, the heavy wet distress is coming.
Yeah, I have used the swimmer's ear stuff, Lisa. I'm actually going to go just see the ENT and get it all cleared out.
All right, damp rag.
I like that. I don't know that I'd use a damp rag because it's going to get streaky.
No, we're going for it. I already sent. Full send.
Full send what?
On the damp cloth.
Just let it dry and use a sandpaper.
It's not getting streaky. I dried it.
I'm waiting to see what happens.
So far, so good.
It's kind of streaky.
It's not streaky.
Oh my gosh. Ticking stripes would look cool on the tray. Yeah, that would be fun. So are you going to secure or are you just going to put it in there so they can take it out?
Yeah, I'm just going to set it. It's pretty tight.
That looks good now. It's a little bit more worn. Do you want me to clear wax that?
Yeah, except for I got like weird random fuzzies on this.
It's fine. I'll take care of it.
Hold on.
And then these need to be stenciled. We have about 10 minutes left, so maybe we'll just finish that. We didn't get it all done, but we'll get it done throughout the day today, and then tomorrow I'll just like a little short so you can see what it looks like.
Did you clear wax this?
Yes.
So that's ready for dark wax?
I'm waiting for whatever you're going to do to it. I don't.
I'm going to heavy dark wax it.
Okay.
And call it a day.
My vision was different than your vision, but that doesn't mean my vision is better.
Does it though?
Have you wanted to go to Rory Field's Big Homesteaders Weekend in Tennessee? I have no idea who that is. Do you?
Nope.
We're not like that ingrained in the homesteading community that we know everybody. And we also have a different homesteading life. We don't homeschool. We live in the city. We still shop at the Costco. Occasionally I order DoorDash. Like we're trying to live like a more natural life, but we also don't fit in with like, I feel like we're more mainstream homesteaders. Is that a thing?
We're just mostly trying to grow our own food.
Yeah. When we can, but we also don't do everything from scratch. So we don't follow a lot of people. And like I said, we live in the city. We live on a quarter of an acre and our church shop has half an acre and we use part of our neighbor's land. We're making do. Someday, maybe. Someday. Dana says that we can't leave because she has 3 more pots to finish. Check it out. He's amazing. He does a lot of hands-on videos. We will definitely look into him because Zeb actually watches a lot more of that than I do.
Well,
and Zeb's parents are kind of like,
I do have like a pretty solid background in like, not necessarily agriculture, but gardening and
canning
and farm type animals. I've done a lot with that growing up. So it's not like even though we're just kind of starting out doing it, it's not brand new to me.
We've done home camp. I never thought of it as homesteading. I feel like that's kind of a newer term because technically homesteading is taking wild land and turning it into revenue and food and a life that you never have to leave, right? But like these days, homesteading is a more
We're going to get
term.
to that. That's the 10-year goal.
Okay. But sometimes I still need to go into town and get my hair did.
You do you.
But we've
out
been canning food. My family can attest to I've been canning food and making bread all of our married life. Yeah. So that is not a new skill. Just one that we're starting to share. We put it on pause for a while when we were growing our business, and we've been trying to figure out a way to bring it back, but still also run our business, you know. It's about finding a balance. I feel like doing your any step towards self-sufficiency and
or just eating cleaner.
Eating cleaner is better than not trying at all. And I feel like some people think, oh, I got to do all of it or I can't do any of it. And that's a little bit overwhelming. So hopefully we inspire people to say, okay, where am I at? Like, do I live in an apartment? Can I just grow like one of those grow trees?
So what I want to do, we have like these 2 tubs in the backyard. I'm going to move them over behind where the sheep used to stay here into the sheep pen. And I want to grow in them and show you guys, like, if you have a balcony, you could, and show you how much you could grow out of like a little potted balcony garden. Like square foot gardening at its finest.
And Cooper and his family can help out with homesteading questions. They have a lot of animals, but they don't actually like their pigs, they don't breed them themselves. So that's a little bit different. And I'm sure
they probably could though.
I'm sure they probably could because his dad was big into like FFA and rodeo. But I don't know. I haven't really talked to his mom about like canning and stuff like that. I do know she wanted me to come over and show her bread. She's made bread before, but the come up bread. They have a wealth of knowledge about animals. So they've got horses, pigs, chickens, goats, a dog, and 3 meat cows. The meat cows, I think, are on family's property, though. Yeah. All right, so we're going to put that together. This is officially, Jamie will need a covered wagon. I have a covered Grand Wagoneer. Same. All right, here is our tray. So if you guys find these at the thrift store, sometimes they're silver and they're all on their own. Don't discount them because you can put a bottom, and then now we have a nice little tray here. And another thing you could do is you could use construction adhesive and adhere this tray and possibly figure out like maybe zip off the feet and make something to hang on the wall. So
do you want to go here? I'll show them close so you don't get dizzy. Can you pick some stencils out?
For what?
For these little things.
Oh, I have the borders right there for you.
Oh, the borders. Okay. I'm going to show you how this turned out with the heavy distress. We lost some lettering here, but you can still kind of see the silhouette. Love it. It's like it's an old sign that's been sitting out for ages in the sun.
So that was crinoline and the cooperative agricole stencil, and we did weathered wood and clear wax, and that will dry up because that was raw wood. Once that wax cures, it's going to be fine to be used for whatever. Victoria says, Jamie, you are so right on. Love it. You know, I'm a realist. It's funny because we get the comment a lot like, you guys are so real. And I'm like, I can't even imagine like having the time to be anything other than who I am. I wouldn't remember. I have such a horrible memory. So I'd forget that I lied to somebody about something. That wouldn't work out so well for me.
I picked up some green paint here somewhere.
It's that blue candlestick that we chipped off earlier. Remember the blue candlestick from Saturday?
Oh, yeah.
We did this on our live.
It looks so much better just like that.
Yeah, it's going to get more, but yeah, I chipped off all the loose paint. A red covered wagon out on the shop selling property. Oh, that would be funny. Covered wagons are actually harder. People really love pioneers around here, so finding them is a little harder than one might expect. Our kids are even Lehigh pioneers. Like that's their mascot.
That's the mascot.
At the high school.
I think I'm going to put the lid on this. It's wanting to flex a lot.
Will that make, yeah, they'll hold it in place. So these are just some cardboard boxes that were wrapped in paper that I painted in crinoline, and Zeb is using our new
Borders.
It's borders, but it's transferware. Sorry, transferware borders, as in like dish transferware. We had some borders created to mimic those designs, and he's just using that. They come in a pack of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And we have those at jamierayvintage.com as well. Jen says, I always give up when it gets too weedy and buggy and hot. So it does get hot here, but we don't have a ton of humidity. So if you just get up early to work in your garden, it's not too bad. But if you live somewhere humid, my hat goes off to you if you can stand sweating in the humidity. I'm a West Coast girl, so me and humidity are not friends. I'm not used to it.
This is going to be a little tricky to go around this corner.
Oh, I thought it was just going to go on the flat surface on each side. You're going next level.
You know, I always...
It's 1:15, so.
Oh, shoot. Well, let me show you this, and then we got to go. We got to do some business coaching. We got a very important topic today.
We got 15 minutes before business coaching, and I got to shove something in my face ahead of time so I can make cohesive sentences.
All right, so these are all going to get stenciled around, and then we'll distress them. And then dark wax this. Watch for the picture. We didn't quite get as much painted as we wanted to, but a lot of things did get done. So hopefully you guys kind of got a sense of how to batch paint, where we do like one color everything, and then it all ends up looking different because we distress the original colors back through. We stencil with different colors, do different dark waxes and white waxes, and it really just makes everything, even though it's the same color, it ties it all in together, but still looks different.
If you like these products, visit jamierayvintage.com. We will have Waste Not Wednesday tomorrow morning. We already have that planned. We have some leftover MDF, so we're doing some fun stuff with that. And
Lots
then
of leftover MDF stuff.
We're going to be doing craft kit MDF leftovers for Waste Not Wednesday for the foreseeable future. And then Thursday, the giraffe video comes out, so watch for that. I usually will put them up about 5 a.m. on Facebook and YouTube, about 7:30-ish, 8 o'clock when I get up. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it out, and subscribe to Jamie Ray Vintage for more
DIY.
Thanks for joining us for Paintapalooza.
I'm going to dark wax this right now.